Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play a Factorio. In the last couple of episodes, I've made some comments on some of these icons that show up. And as I began recording this episode, I had the thought, I wonder if I can mod that. And it turns out that I can, kind of. And so I did make some modifications. In particular, this blue icon right here. That shows up. This is the icon that's saying that there is a request to fill this item with modules. And this is the only thing that I believe that icon is used to reference. But I made some modifications to it because there were a couple things I didn't like. First thing I didn't like was that this icon was in the middle and it was very big and it didn't blink, so you couldn't see the picture that is on the assembly machine. You couldn't see what it was making. Which I didn't particularly care for. And also, it was something that you could click on. It's like actually an entity. And the purpose of that was so you could right-click on it to cancel that request, which is fine, I guess. But it's a feature that I've used absolutely 0 times and have no plans on using in the future. I made some changes to this. I removed that feature. It was causing a problem because if I click on this machine here, this is what I want to see. Instead, I was clicking on the machine and I was getting the cancel notification for this, and I didn't want that. So I removed that click box and made the icon smaller and shifted it down a little bit. And while I was in there digging around, I also did the same to the power. It's smaller now. It's a little less intrusive. And I also shrank the request or the RoboPort out of range icon. It looks kind of weird right here, especially on the assembly machines. It looks off-centered, and I don't particularly care for it. The problem is that offset, as far as I can tell, is utilized by every single entity in the game. So if we look at like an inserter over here, like in the open, and I place it down, you can see that the icon is just a little bit above it. So that's why it ended up there. It's and if I were to shift it over to where it looked good on the assembly machine, it would shift over on the assembler, and that wouldn't look great either. I don't know. There may be some more things that I can do, but boy, this is a lot better in my opinion. I can see what the machine's making, and I can click on the machine. And the blink, I mean, it's still there. I couldn't find a way to turn that off. I'm not sure that there is, or I would have. But, yeah, it's a work in progress. But, yeah, no, it's available. There'll be a link down in the description in the FAQ. Let's see. Some people have pointed out something that I want to address. Where is that? That would be here? No. Here? Yeah, here. So this line right here is where our iron furnaces end, and right here where our steel furnaces begin. And I wasn't even thinking about it, set the request here so that these two furnaces could share, right? Share and share alike, just like we are in other places. The problem with that is that both of these will accept that as input, and we could find ourselves in a situation where the output is being blocked, especially with these chests being limited, and we do not want that. So I'm going to go ahead and break these up. Let's take that out, remove that request, and then remove that request. So you're only getting the iron ore, you're only getting the iron plates. So you're only making steel, you're only making iron plates, and everybody should be happy now. Let's see you. And you. All right, and I think it's only these 3 machines that suffer from that condition, because this one right here should be, yeah, or only. It's only those 3 as far as I am aware. Let's just come up here real quick and check that out and confirm it. These 4 up here are steel, and they are doing their own requests. Okay. All right, and another little trick that Cornosian brought up. It has to do with the green circuits. I was mentioning that it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio, but he told me how to modify the speed modules that are assigned for a 24 beacon or 12 beacon setup. It's 22.2933, and that will simulate the speed of the missing the deficit there, and bring that kind of up to date there, so that it is an actual 1-to-1 ratio between green circuits and copper cables. And when we do that, we notice that this number creeps above 5. And you look at it and you're like, it's just 0.59. It's not that big of a deal, except that it totally is. And that means we're going to have to throw in an additional machine. And there's also a secondary problem. I don't know if you've ever seen these green circuit makers work with a 16 or with an 8 or 12 beacon setup. But man, they just fly. There's the mathematical problem of how many machines you need to support each other, but there's also a mechanical problem of that this machine creates more copper wire than it is capable of sending out with one inserter, and that doesn't work too well with our current setup. So that's why I have these doubled up, is to be able to account for that, and I think it should work okay, but we're going to need an additional green circuit machine in here. So what I think I want to do is let's shift this over 1. And let's shift this over 1. And let's shift you up 1. Okay, let's move you over. Let's move you up. It's kind of like one of those little puzzle games. Let's take you out for now. Let's move you over. Let's move you over. And let's move you right there. All right, and that will allow us to put another green circuit machine right there in that line, and I think we will be good. So now it's just a matter of coming over here to this side and making those adjustments to our big thing, as well as seeing what else we need to fix and discuss before wrapping this thing up. All right, I just noticed that I was out of provider chests, so I wanted to pick up some of those. I don't think we need anything else. We probably will. Okay, let's see if we remember how to do this. And what's dying? Nothing important. Okay, so this right here is our steel smelter. It needs to be moved there. You, Mr. Engine Maker, need to go over here. Okay, and that is going to be totally a blue request now. And you're going to be just an engine request. Okay, another quick tweak while I'm thinking about it. Let's take you guys out real quick. Let's move you over, and we'll get all of that in a line so that they can share some chests. Yeah. All right, that's your request. That will be your request, and then this can come out, and you guys will share that. All right, so there's that opening. Did we just move the blue up? Is that what we did? Yeah, and well, I can't make the change to that from space, but all right, that goes up like that. You're going to be a requester chest. You're moving somewhere else. And you... we are going to copy and paste and get that fit in there. And that's going to make it where you are now going to be... you're going to be the one on the end, the one that's... oh, we're out of stack inserters as well. That's unfortunate. You probably want an input chest. And we're gonna need some more. We're gonna need some more stack inserters. I don't want to deal with ghosts. What was that? What are you doing? Oh, we were out of chests. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get a train coming down here, one that has stack inserters. You have stack inserters. You should have stack inserters. And then I believe that is a speed module there. That speed module moves over there. Okay, yeah, let's just grab those. Let's get this. Let's get all this first here. You are moving here. That'll be a shared input. That will be okay. You will send out to there. Also okay. That leaves that open. And did I just move like one of those labs over? Okay, blue is underneath, yellow's underneath. I don't even know why that makes a difference whether that's blue or yellow. But yeah, we just opened up this area right here. You are going to end up going up there. And yeah, you can go there. I don't see any reason why not. And that'll be a request there. And I think that did it. All right, so yeah, I wanted to update this because I think we're going to need stack inserters going into there, going out of there. Just try to make this look a little bit consistent. You're going to be requesting, I want you to be a stack inserter as well. You need an input chest for your iron, and I believe that needs to be a stack inserter as well. Stack. Boy, I missed all kinds of things here, didn't I? That goes there. You are feeding both sides. Those are limited. Stack. Stack, stack. I don't know why all those are so inconsistent. I guess it's probably because because we might have moved them around a little bit when the power pull thing happened. All right, I think that should be good. All of our requests are going to be incorrect. But we'll have to get the modules in there, actually, to set those reasonable, unless I want to sit there and do the math. But I think I would do that in between episodes, because that's going to be a long, monotonous thing that's going to be really hard to talk through. Let's see. What else are we going to need to do? I was going to see about moving this in, but actually somebody brought up a point, and it got me thinking. So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trains coming in, and that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if we do this, like, well, let's say we were going to do like 2,000 signs a second or something like that. 2,000 signs a minute, not a second. I think we need like 11 of these setups. So that's going to be 66 trains, right? Running on the network. The idea that they had was can we make just one train that has everything and make that work? So then that would only be 11 trains on the network, which is certainly a little bit more reasonable to deal with. My concerns with that, I like the idea. Less trains equals good. Well, let's just see. Do I still have all these trains? Yes, I do. Let's just throw you up here. We need, let me see if I can remember this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for iron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for copper. 1 for stone, 1 for coal. Did I grab fluid cars? No, I didn't. I think it's 2 for both oil and water. I don't remember that off the top of my head. Yeah, 2 for water. Oh, actually 1 for oil. Okay. That's a long train. And we'd probably have to put like 12 engines on it. I mean, another thing that we could do is if we broke this down and even did like half. So maybe like 4 iron, 3 copper, coal, stone, water. We'd have to play with that a bit. I haven't messed with a setup like this before, so I don't know the answer. I don't know if it got me thinking as I did the math. 66 trains for that does seem excessive, and if we could turn that down to 11, that's going to be huge. But then you have to set up other stations and other ways to feed those stations in order to get those trains loaded. So it's not truly like we're taking it down. We're just we're moving that number down. I still think we'd end up with less all day. A couple of things that I can see as being issues with that. It's that if you've ever run a bot station before, and I did this in my first Megabase playthrough and have done it since, just kind of playing with bot setups throughout the past, is that they don't unload evenly at all. That's one of the reasons why I was trying to center this to help that. But I mean, it always seems like whenever I have a bot set up, there's always one car that's completely full that can't unload, while these two are basically empty. I don't know what it is, something to do with distance or the way that bots travel, but I kind of accounted that a little bit for these. I think we only need one car for each one of these, but I made it two to account for that, so the train will actually sit here for a little while. All that to say, the one thing that I'm wondering if maybe splitting the difference might work. If we kept iron as its own train, we kept copper as its own train, and then if we combined some of the smaller ones, like if we did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 car train. Actually, we could even take that down. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. And then just bring that train in the middle here and have it unload oil and all of the things, oil and water and coal. And then that would take it down to 3 trains, and then our 66 trains become 33 trains, which is much more manageable, much more reasonable. It's a big savings. It's a savings of half. Wait a minute, that wouldn't be right. Yeah, it would. Math. So that's something to think about. Or we could also consider that premature optimization and then just try to plug this thing in and see if it'll work. We also need to go through and situate these roboports to make sure that they're in effective positions. We'll probably have to end up adding more. I'm not sure how many more. I always tend to go crazy with bot setups and do something like that, a big line going the whole way, but it seems to me like that isn't really necessary most of the time. But I don't know, we'll see. And I'm also not too, I think we could probably do this better. And you know what? We did not make a satellite maker. I had that on my notes of things to check out that I totally didn't do. So you need to be a satellite machine. You are going to feed into there, and we'll probably have like a stack inserter feeding into it. And that makes you go away. Yeah, this is just kind of here. We probably need to find a little better place for it. All right, let's see. Boy, I could start something, and let's see. Now, we're probably pretty good right now. Episode time-wise, I may actually make a 20-minute episode. Wouldn't that be nuts? All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. A little bit of tweakage here and there, and probably some other big problems that I'm not thinking about. Let me take. Let's at least take this thing in a little bit. We could probably bring it in that far reasonably and still have space for that roboport. We could actually bring it in a lot closer and still have space for this. And then probably bring that somewhere somewhat centralized. Right, like there-ish. And we'll try to make that look a little bit better later. All right, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one.